Welcome into the Denver Sports Podcast presented by the one and only Breckenridge Brewery. It feels like it's been more than a week, but it hasn't. Last Friday, a bunch of us tried the Breck Brew seltzers, into the lemonade seltzers, and they were amazing. Highly recommend them. My favorite was the strawberry lemonade, and it instantly reminded me of Go-Gurt, and I thought that was a good thing. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing to anyone else, but for me, it was a lovely flashback to childhood in a cup.
Was it a cup or a can?
Or in a can. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't pour it into a cup. I wasn't fancy like that. But you guys should check them out. They are everywhere. You can use the Breck Brew locator to find some Good Company seltzers, the lemonade and the regular. Or, of course, you can use that locator to find all of their incredible beers. And you can come here to the DNVR bar and get some awesome beers on tap. We've got... Oh... I just saw your post, AJ. Eric, look at the chat.
I deleted it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Last time that happened, we had some guests pop onto the show.
No, I
on the show a little.
Yeah.
Definitely go check that out. The bar tonight, we've got the Nuggets game on, and then the Avs start the playoffs on Monday, 8 p.m. It's going to be a good one. The bar is going to be an incredible time. So I would highly suggest getting here early to make sure that you get a spot. But let's jump right in. Speaking of the playoffs, I'm your host, Allie Monroy. Today I've got RK, Eric, AJ, and Drew with me, and we are going to talk about favorite playoff moments in Denver sports history. Please stop, Ryan.
Freaking me out, man.
For people listening to the podcast version, Ryan wouldn't stop small waving, like teeny waves. It was
like
weird.
Creeper waves. Like, look out your window and there's a smiling face, and he just very cool.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. Actually, let's start off with talking about the Avs game last night and how the Avs won the President's Trophy. The last time they won the President's Trophy was in 2001. And what happened in 2001, guys?
The Avs won the cup.
There we go. So, you know.
I was going to try to come up with something else totally obscure, but RK got in there fast. I was like, I think Gladiator came out.
Something happened in 2001 is that I got pepper sprayed and tear gassed in the same night. And it was related to the Avs winning the cup.
Nice.
we had to sit through Tropical Storm Allison in Houston. That wasn't fun.
Yeah. All right, AJ, tell me your thoughts about last night. I know winning the President's Trophy. Oh my God, I said cup. Sorry. President's Trophy wasn't the most important thing, but it does guarantee home ice advantage throughout the entire playoffs. And they just destroyed LA twice.
Yeah. Setting the tone for the Nuggets to do the same.
Oh yeah.
You guys got to beat LA this time around.
We did beat LA. It was just the Clippers.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said. I've seen a lot of people try and downplay the President's Trophy. Like, what matters is what happens in the postseason. But, like, this is a cool accomplishment.
It's so cool.
Like, your team finishes at the top of the regular season The NHL is cool because it actually gives the team that does that something, and not just like, well, you finished at the top, attaboy. You actually get a trophy, you get a banner, you've accomplished a cool thing. So it's great. It really didn't make a huge difference for the Avs. They had already secured home ice advantage in every potential series except the one against Vegas. Now they have home ice against Vegas too, if they play each other. So great. That's awesome. They are 16-0-1 in their last 17 home games.
Wild.
You will take your chances when you're that good at home.
We had a JT Comfort hat trick on Wednesday, and we almost had a Tyson Jost hat trick. Those two guys scoring multiple points or multiple goals and getting multi-point games in the last 2 games of the season. I mean, those guys getting hat tricks, it's pretty incredible, especially with McKinnon out.
Yeah, and those were those guys walked into those games with a combined 12 goals on the year, and they scored 5 in the last 2 games.
Crazy.
You got to get offense from everywhere. With no McKinnon, the contributions have to come from everywhere.
All right, well, let's jump in with the Avs. AJ, what is your favorite playoff moment in Avs history? It's the thumbnail of this show.
Yeah, I mean, Ray Bourque lifting the cup, right? It's an iconic moment in hockey history, not just Avalanche history. This isn't like the Hurricanes winning the cup in 2006, where everybody goes, "Oh yeah, that happened." This is Ray Bourque lifting the Stanley Cup in 2001 is one of the great fairy tales in all of sports history. He approves the trade from Boston after 20 years. He goes to a cup contender in Colorado. They don't win it. He agrees to come back for one last ride, one last attempt at the cup. Joe Sakic gets chewed out by Patrick Waugh and Ray Bourque on the back of the team plane after Game 7. The Game 7 loss in Dallas in 2000, and they come back. They convince Ray to come back only if Joe says he'll be better. The Avs dominate the NHL's regular season that year, wire-to-wire top team. Take on the defending Stanley Cup champions in the Cup Finals and win it in 7 games on home ice. Sakic takes a picture with the cup, hands it to Ray Bourque, and grown men everywhere cry.
That's the moment right there. Is the cup handoff that that'll get you 10 times out of 10. You watch it right now, it'll still get you.
To be fair, I was crying because of tear gas.
Okay, Eric, how many times are you going to mention the tear gas and the pepper spray? Cam in the comments said, in the fact that Joe just gave it to him without taking his first lap.
Yeah, so that's the standard. The captain does his thing, but he knew. I mean, this was not Mission 16W was not about Joe Sakic taking a lap with the cup and us just waiting. He knew that it was all about Bourque, but Sakic had lifted the cup before. He'd been there, done that, buddy. This was all about Ray Bourque's moment, and it stands the test of time. You see it 20 years later, and it's still an unbeatable moment in sports history.
Billy here saying that it might be the best playoff moment in NHL history. What do you think of that?
It's widely considered one of the absolute tip-top moments in NHL history. I mean, it's the perfect fairy tale. It's the Denver has seen 3 of these. As a sports town, is iconic to have the guy lift the championship and then just be like, all right, I'm good. I'm out of here. Peace. It's memorable. It's great. I mean, what can you say? It's Ray Bourque lifting the cup is the thing that every Avalanche team since has aspired to try to recreate in its own image.
We've got Eddie here saying no love for Colin Wilson. He said it's Colin Wilson's 2-goal game to eliminate the Flames in 18-19.
Okay.
But see, that's the best part about this topic. Moments are different for every single person. And yes, Ray Bourque's moment is something that everyone who watches hockey knows, and it is one of the best in NHL history. But for younger fans, there is different significances in those moments. So that's cool. I asked people on Twitter to send me their moments, their favorite moments. And so we'll read a few of those towards the end of the show. But Drew, let's move on to the Rockies. What is your favorite playoff moment in Rockies history?
Yeah, it's another easy one. It's got to go to the final out of the NLCS in 2007. It's not like the play itself was especially remarkable, right? But Todd Helton recording the final out.
The play was pretty nice.
The play was nice. It was a nice play. From Tulowitzki on the throw. The fact that they got Eric Burns, who had talked some trash just a few days before, was pretty nice. But it really was kind of all of the frustrations and then ultimate elation in Todd Helton and the career he had, that it was very symbolic of the existence the Rockies had. And for him, while he was still not quite in his prime, but still near the top of his game, was a big contributor on that team. And to get that moment there at the end and to be able to celebrate, like, I'm going to get to play in the World Series. And not everyone does. It's rarer than you think. It's really tough to get to the World Series. And, since the Rockies have existed, only 15 teams have won the thing. The other 15 haven't. So it's that brutal. So it's like that they got there. Obviously it sucks that then they had to wait 9 days and you can talk about that, whatever, but they won the pennant. And that's a massive deal because the World Series is like the one thing in the sports where you play the championship under a different set of rules than you've been playing the entire rest of the season. Like the World Series actually used to be kind of an exhibition in a way, because it was like you won the pennant. That was the big deal. Whoever was the champions of the National League, whoever was the champions of the American League, it was like, I'm letting these guys get together and play a little exhibition. But that they won the pennant. And then I was there the next year when they hung it up. But that moment with Todd Helton, especially too, and it's like because he was our guy and he always our guy forever and ever, and then he finally got that to happen. But Game 163 is a close runner-up as well. I think that there's a lot more juice in the sports moment of that one. That's like a more memorable play. One of those moments where it could have gone either way and you didn't know what was going to happen. The Rockies very easily could have lost that game, and it came down to that final moment, really, until Tim McClellan called Matt Holliday safe, which he did. You really didn't know. That was one of the wildest endings to any game ever. Todd Helton said this in a documentary one time. He was 100% right that if that game had been played between the Red Sox and the Yankees, that would be considered one of the 10 greatest baseball games of all time. It was a
great point.
It was amazing. And so
every inning.
Yeah.
Just
the back and forth. So many memorable moments. The Garrett Atkins home run that wasn't turned into a double. The Agon grand slam against the Dragon Slayer. The Dragon Slayer going against the Cy Young winner. All the stuff that happened in extras. The Rockies going down only to face Trevor Hoffman, one of the greatest closers of all time, come back in that game. That was absolutely amazing as well. So I wouldn't fault anyone for saying 163, but they won the pennant. I watched them do it.
So that like 163 is more like my style of favorite moment. Like the one where there's just this 1 second where you're just like, oh my God, and you just lose your absolute mind and you just go crazy. Like even, the moment with Todd is great because it was a great play. It was a great throw. But I think the score was 4-0 or 4-1 at the time. Yeah. Like it wasn't
They're
like
also
the game.
up 3-0 in the series.
Right, exactly. It wasn't so stressful, I guess, is what kind of creates some of these great moments. Is you're so worried about the worst that might be about to happen, and then the best happens, and that's what 163. I mean, I put that up with any moment from any team anywhere, because it's been however many years since the Rockies had made the playoffs. What would it have been? 13 or
in
11?
07, so it would have been 95 to 07. Yeah.
Okay, 12. Yeah, so 12 years since they had made the playoffs. Like, for me, that was pretty much the first time in my life, at least of being a Rockies fan, that they were going to make the playoffs. And then you go down and in the top half of the inning, and you're just like, oh my god! And we've got Hoffman. And to be able to pull it out was just like it really was snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, and just like the elation when he absolutely 100% touches home plate and he's called safe. Is just that's why those are the ones that like really last for me, are the ones where it's just like all of a sudden everything went from bad to great.
Helton standing there after the game, and the exact quote was, "I have no idea how we just won that baseball game."
That's amazing.
So great. Yeah, can't argue with that.
And not to kill the mood, but baseball, high level baseball produces really great moments like that, and it's one of the and it just makes it hard. It makes it hard when the Rockies struggle to get into contention.
It's such because every moment of a baseball game is pressure. Every moment, the person with the ball is the eye of Sauron, and it is focused heavily on one person and one person only. And it's just a game of everyone taking free throws, basically. Like, you have to catch the ball because it's coming to you. You have to hit the ball. You have to pitch. You have to put the ball in the right place. Like, it's just high leverage pressure. It's just there's so many games that it gets that intensity gets so diluted, and then you end up just going to the ballpark to drink. But like baseball, that meaningful baseball is as emotionally toying as it gets. Like, it just, like you're saying, like the high, the low, I mean, the improbable, and it just takes one swing. I mean, that's the line, but it's true. It just takes one swing and everything changes. And I miss that so much. I mean, I think that's why I'm so grumpy with the Rockies currently, is because I know what it feels like and what it looks like. And this town just deserves that, because this town is a baseball town at its core.
Oh my gosh!
Has not been given the opportunity to express that.
Totally.
Yeah, what, AJ?
It is absolutely a baseball town. Yeah. This town has a deep love of baseball.
Totally.
And the connection, and that's what makes the relationship with the Rockies right now so angry. Mm-hmm. Look, if it was an apathetic baseball town, everybody would have just shrugged.
Right.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be the kind of anger and hurt that exists between the two right now if there wasn't a deep love of it to begin with. Like, you just can't.
And I would guess most people in Denver have played baseball at some point in their lives, right? Like it as a child or something. There's just like a lot of baseball. We live on a big flat area that is just essentially a huge baseball diamond. Like, you could basically build a baseball diamond wherever you wanted.
Baseball parks within like a 10-minute drive of Coors Field.
Totally.
Like, there's a bunch of. But I wanted to say something actually. Eric got me thinking about. There's this old talking point from old baseball writers who like to mention, and they're right about the weird perfection of the game of baseball. This like 90 feet to each base, and it creates this geometry that allows your brain to actively anticipate that everything that could possibly happen. In both of those plays, you have that, right? Because forever and ever, a ground ball through that left side where the shortstop's got to take a couple of steps to his right and make a throw. Everything's got to be perfect there for them to get that out and record it at the end. And if he dirts that thing and it goes by Todd Helton, there's no clock on this thing, then you're 2 base hits and a homer away from, oops, we just threw the game away. But the other one, the Jamie Carroll one, I think to RK's point, I think if anyone, for you, if that whole moment has more juice, it's that right there. Everything that's gone on, the back-to-back doubles, that Matt Holliday hits that triple off the wall. That whole moment where the ball's in the air, that could get caught on the warning track. That could go out, game over. It hits off the walls. Matt Holliday had the wheels to get to third. There he is sliding into third. All of this has happened. Game's not over. Jamie Carroll strikes out here. This was all fine and dandy, but we got to do it again next inning. You know Carroll's got to get the ball in the air, but you also know it's got to be just deep enough. Off the bat, is it? And those 11 seconds between when he swung the bat, Matt Holliday had to wait and tag up and go, and he has to go. Ugh.
Amazing.
That's what we live for.
Oh yeah, Drew and Drew celebrating that moment with the Breck Brew right now. Are you doing an RK special or just the hop?
Just one today.
I do like that memory was so inspiring for you. You had to take a drink midway through it. It was incredible.
Got him hyped.
I know. Dehydrated through hype.
I always say that my favorite thing in sports, and we're maybe finally getting back to a time where this will be possible again. Like, my favorite thing in sports are the moments that just give you the urge to hug a stranger.
Oh, dude, slap fives.
You're just like, I need someone to celebrate this with me. You know, you're just celebrating with everyone around you, and like that's absolutely one of those moments where you're just like, I don't even know you, but I'm hugging you right now.
No. I mean, I've totally. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, AD.
That was me in 2010 when Ryan O'Reilly scored the only goal in Game 3 against the Sharks when they scored into their own net in overtime, and it was just like me and the person I went to the game with, and we hugged, and then we hugged everybody around us, and then we hugged everybody leaving the arena. We were slapping five, and everybody was shouting, and it was just like you had no expectations. They lost the series. It was not like they were not serious contenders. It was not a cup moment, but it was just one of those like explosions of joy because it was so unexpected, and it was just like, the way that it happened is tremendously funny.
Right. That's the other thing. Like, you didn't there's a huge pause there. You know, it's not like they set up the goal perfectly and you see it pop the back of the net. Like, he just throws it over there and you see him celebrate. You're like, there's just like this pause there where you're like, wait, what?
well, so half of the arena got it because they saw the puck go in. And then I was on the other half, which was, what just happened? Why is everybody celebrating? And the goal horn is going off and everybody's freaking out. Like, that right there, like, is why I put overtime hockey in the postseason. It's basically the only thing that's next to baseball because of the possibility of anything can happen.
It's so nerve-wracking.
One no mistake, guardrails of any kind.
One puck bounce. I mean, you look at, I don't remember what year it was, but you look at the Vancouver-Chicago series that went 7 games, and it gets decided because of a puck that gets rimmed around the boards, and it bounces off the dasher sideways and into the middle of the ice. And the dude just picks it up and is like, oh, my God. And he rolls in and scores, and they advance, and it's like for the team that it happens for, you're, oh, my God, the break of breaks. The team that it happens to, it's just this soul-crushing, universal disdain for your existence. That's what makes the postseason just completely different. And it's maybe the one thing that football really, really lacks is there's not many of, because of how the game happens. Because of the way that the game is played, there's just not many of those moments in football history.
Yeah, I mean, you do get like, you know, the game winning drives and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that have that same thing. But you're right in the sense that it's I mean, technically, you know, you could throw a pick on any play and it can be over like that. But there's not this like any second the game could just be over feeling like, you know, that just reminded me of that Rockies Cubs game a couple years ago, and it's so much worse when you're the road team and you're just like every pitch you're just like, this could be it, This could be it. Like, all it takes is one hanging breaking ball, and this thing's going to be over. And you're just like, every single time it leaves the pitcher's fingers, your heart just sinks.
I always tell that story of, like, imagine being Scott Oberg when Tony Wolters hit that single back up the middle to put the Rockies on top in extras on the road 2-1. Because Oberg was already in the game. He had already struck out one batter. He knew he was going back out. So everyone's going, yeah, high fives, hugs. Like you said, hugs, high fives. Everyone's feeling that. Oberg's got to, like, be away from it and sit there and be like, I got to go out and get 3 outs, because if I don't, who cares? Like, that's so. And then he struck out the side, by the way. If we never see Oberg pitch again, remember that.
Yeah. But, like, it feels like the thing about all these moments is that it, like, and just sports in general, but, like, really these big moments is, like, when you feel yourself become part of the larger organism. Like, you start to slap fives with people. It's exactly, you start bonding with people you don't know. It's like you become, like, pure energy, and, like, you just want to do the thing that human beings do, where you just, you know, vibe off one another. And, like, those memories that you have, it's like, wow, like, that moment where you just remember it forever. I mean, you just never forget those moments. And exactly, like, even you go up, you slap fives, like, their hand could be wet. Any normal situation, you'd be like, oh God, but you're like, oh,
boy.
I mean, we got to be with Drew when he watched overtime playoff hockey for the first time, and it was so funny because obviously
what game was that?
So stressful.
The McKinnon against Calgary game.
Yeah, well, that was game 2.
Game 2, yeah.
Yeah.
And Drew was just like, oh my God, what is happening? I can't breathe. My heart is racing.
So fast. Those boys go so fast.
It was just so funny. It's such an intense moment. I think something that I don't miss, though, when high-fiving strangers is when they, like, when you're walking or something and they accidentally, like, really high-five it and your hand's, like, red and tingly for, like, 5 minutes after.
That's part of it.
I'm like,
that just means you've done good with a stranger.
You just need to, what you need to do, Allie, is in between now and the playoffs, you only have a few days, just slap your hand against the wood and get it good and calloused.
All right.
2 hours later, you're like, why is my hand here? Like, oh, yeah.
I'm prepping. I'm playoff prepping.
Playoff prepping. All right. Before we move on to Broncos and Nuggets, let's talk about some bets. Eric, we've got the Nuggets tonight playing the Pistons. Ryan, Eric, do you guys have any go-to bets that you want to place tonight on DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook?
So I've been riding the Nuggets first quarter line hard recently. This is a great bet. I'm so far undefeated on it. The Nuggets are actually the best team in the NBA against the spread in the first quarter. So that one's fun. I think it's actually 3 tonight against the Pistons. Maybe it's come down a little bit. I'm not sure. I haven't checked it in a second, but yeah, 3-2. I mean, you may buy it down to 2, which is an option. But I love those Nuggets first quarter lines. And also, while we're talking about the Avs winning the cup,
yes,
got a little pro tip for you guys.
On DraftKings Sportsbook.
On DraftKings Sportsbook, in the odds boost section, they have boosted Avs to win the cup from plus 450 to plus 514 today. Now, that's a nice deal in itself. But every single day in May, DraftKings is giving us a free profit boost anywhere between 25 and 100%. So you can actually apply that profit boost to their already existing odds boost. And I got mine all the way up at plus 771, which is actually better odds than the Avs had before the season started. So really, really good stuff.
That's incredible. I got to get in on that one. And all of May profit boost, I had no idea. We're May 14th. I'm disappointed in you and Andre for not communicating that.
Maybe you should listen to the show that you're producing.
You actually watched them.
I didn't know that everyone got it. I checked it once and I got like a 25%, but I thought it was just that day. So I didn't know it was all the time.
Pay attention. It's a tough thing in life.
I'm too busy making other bets while listening to your show. So
what a junkie.
I know, right? You got it bad, Allie.
So can I boost my boost?
Yeah.
yeah. Boost that boost. Yeah. The problem with the Nugget, like I agree with you, RK. Like that first quarter feels like the only amount of time that you can guarantee that there will be actual basketball being played. We are in the doldrums. We are in the we are in purgatory. We are just doing a slow, steady march to the playoffs. There's no joy left in this basketball season. The Avs guys are very, very well acquainted with this. They had this for 2 weeks. It's terrible. So I don't know. The last night, and it's also the second night of a back-to-back, which is the worst thing in sports, is the second night of a back-to-back in basketball. I have no idea what to expect out of Nikola Jokic. If he's going to play, last night he confusingly played the whole. I don't know. He's just.
Why did he play for so long?
He's trying to prove a point that
he's built different.
That he's like Cal Ripken, but 7 feet and Serbian and good.
I was like, why is Jokic still playing? I kept saying that over and over and over again.
No doubt.
The last 7 minutes of the fourth, I was like, this is just not safe. And Ryan then looked at the TV and was like, oh my God, there's 2 minutes left and he's still in.
They're up 10.
He's just built different. He's just built. He doesn't get tired. Nikola Jokic makes absolutely no sense. Somehow, when the world was clowning him for being fat and out of shape, he played 60 straight minutes or 60 full minutes in a playoff game, and didn't get tired. I don't, he'll probably play the whole night. I just bet that first quarter.
So first quarter bet for the Nuggets, the Avs bets, and then right now you can download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code DNVR when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 when your bet on a main card fighter to win. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. It is UFC 262, and it's Michael Chandler and Nate Diaz fighting against each other. There we go.
Not true.
No.
Not true.
No.
Nate Diaz is out. It is a guy named Oliveira.
Charles Oliveira.
When did that happen?
A few days ago. We've been reading this ad wrong pretty much universally across the network.
Lindsay!
Not me.
Okay. Anyways, download that app. Use the promo code DNVR. $1 into $100. No matter who the hell is fighting. Just choose a fighter, and you can make that money.
Make it sound like Street Fighter. Just choose your fighter.
It'll be George Rudo from our TikTok. Pick your fighter.
Always bet on Scorpion.
Okay. For a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook, must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Ryan, are you drinking some Strava Craft coffee over there?
I finished.
Oh, I need some coffee. We've got a late Nuggets game.
Yeah, bro. Homemade Strava cold brew. You sometimes if you want it done a certain way, you got to do it yourself.
How many life hacks are you going to unveil in one show? These boosting the boost, homemade cold brew, unreal.
But if you don't want to make your own cold brew, because that takes time, you can come here to the DNVR bar and grab some Strava Craft Coffee cold brew. It will have you, as Brendan Vogt and the DNVR Nuggets guys say, honking like a goose. It'll get you going. You'll be ready. The Avs game, the Avs first round playoff game, is a late one, 8 o'clock. You need some coffee after a long work day.
Is
Drink
coffee
some Strava
what will make people
coffee.
stop whining about game times?
Nope. Not gonna happen, sucker.
That's a whole other discussion. Anyways, our friends over at Strava Craft Coffee have not been feeling as much love, so please go support them. You can get 25% off of your first purchase when you use the code DNVR. Strava Craft Coffee is a CBD-infused coffee. They help with so many different ailments, and it's such a better experience than drinking coffee. You don't get the jitters. You don't get any of those just annoying little coffee side effects that you can normally get. And you can also use their subscription, which means just 20% off all the time, and Strava will be delivered to your doorstep every 2, 6, 8 weeks, whenever you choose. It's a really great product. Use that code DNVR25 at checkout. And the playoffs are coming up. We're about to have some incredible coverage. We've got a lot of video content coming your way. We've got all of our post-game shows. This is the time to be on the DNVR Lounge Discord. That way you don't have to deal with all of these hot takes that are coming out about the Avs and just all unnecessary negative, bad takes, you could just hang out in the DNVR Discord and talk to friends, talk to family. It is so much fun. It's the DNVR Lounge with Nuggets, Avs, Rockies, Broncos, and we've got some fun channels on there like Food Channel. We've got skiing and snowboarding. Eric went and created like 500 channels, so everyone.
Yeah, everyone was. Yeah, I got more backlash than praise on that than I thought I would.
Well, you did create like 50, and everyone got like.
I also just created a whole bunch of custom DNVR emojis. All of your favorite DNVR personalities are now captured in emoji form, so you can express your displeasure with Drew Creasman's face, like I've done in the past.
Well, okay, there you go. Yeah, it's just a great time. So definitely check out thednvr.com if you're finding us on YouTube. We cover all 4 sports every single day, podcast every day. They are fantastic. And we have a DNVR locker. You can get a free shirt when you subscribe to thednvr.com. And right now, you can get a holistic stick from Holistic Wellness. You can use the promo code DNVR30 for 30% off holisticwellness.com. They've got a lot of great CBD products as well. So check them out. All right. Now that we've got those out of the way, Ryan, should we end with Broncos?
Sure. Let's end with Broncos.
Let's end with Broncos. And
cool.
Eric, talk to me about the Nuggets. What is your favorite playoff memory?
Well, let's talk about these Nuggets, shall we? The Nuggets who had years and years and years and years of bleak, terrible, awful, no good, very bad playoff experiences. The one that was early on that was like really the thing that everybody pointed to is in the 1994 playoffs where Dikembe Mutombo was grasping the ball after the 8 seed upstart Nuggets defeated the number 1 seed Seattle Supersonics that was coached ironically by George Karl. It was a 5-game series, and really at that point in time, Denver was way, way into the Nuggets. It was very cool. And we got, we overcame, we won. Dikembe grabs that ball. It's the moment everyone remembers. It's very sad, though, because it's a first round. It's a first-round playoff matchup, and that was, like, for the longest time, our biggest accomplishment as Nuggets Nation. Luckily, there have been some things that have happened very recently that have given us much better moments to focus on. Most specifically, last year in the bubble. Unfortunately, the problem with these most recent memories is obviously like no one was allowed to be there. Like we didn't get that like hand slapping moment. We didn't get that hug a stranger moment, which I'm looking forward to hugging so many strangers here coming up with various announcements that are being made. But, game 6 against the LA Clippers, the Nuggets beat the Clippers, and Jamal Murray gives his now infamous post-game speech, and he's then photographed on the ramps outside of the bubble, wherever they were, just like kneeling, being so overcome with emotion in that moment because of what it meant. The Nuggets were at that point, they had just overcome a 3-1 deficit in the first round against the Jazz, which in that in and of itself contained like 15 amazing moments. And then you roll into this series, the same thing. The Nuggets just immediately start off poorly. The Clippers are heavily favored, obviously, because they got Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers represent the machine that is the NBA, where you can just have superstars sort of just like congregate wherever they want, and they can all just bring each other along and decide, how it's going to work. And a team like the Nuggets has obviously no access to building a team that way. They have to do it organically. They have to find a 41st pick from Serbia. They have to get they have to pick up guys that slide in the draft. Like they have to be cunning and savvy and make all the right moves. And it just seemed again like it. My lowest moment I think in life was after Game 3 against the Jazz in the first round, where the Nuggets were listless. They got destroyed. They got embarrassed. We were like, what are we doing? Like, are we just lying to ourselves about this stupid team? Like, why am I watching the NBA? Like, I think the only teams that win are teams that are able to convince Kawhi Leonard to come, which just means you happen to geographically be in Los Angeles. Like, cool. That's great. Like, that's what this league boils down to. So the Nuggets fight back. It's super emotional. Jamal Murray gives that speech. And then from that point on, like that moment after they beat the Clippers, which it was a really close game, they broke the Clippers, and then the next game they just absolutely rolled over them. Like it just a dam was broken. Evil had been defeated. Good won, and
one.
I'll just remember you'll remember that iconic shot of looking down at Jamal Murray, just overcome, exhausted, and emotionally drained
for sure.
And it was just as far as those iconic photos go, Ray Bourque holding the cup, Todd Helton lifting his arms. That's, I believe, now going to be it for the Nuggets, unless, we've got some playoffs coming up. Hopefully there'll be some new
moments.
Moments, but that was about as good as it gets, man.
I do think in terms of snapshots, Dikembe with the ball is probably still number one. But that run last year was as magical as they come.
Dude, pure magic.
And
it was in the Magic Kingdom, for God's sakes.
I think, unfortunately, it was almost the worst moment possible.
Yes,
but Mike Conley rimming out on the three.
Don't even talk about it. What are you doing? Why are you talking about old stuff on this show?
That was the moment, though. Like, I still have a video on my phone of us upstairs at the bar celebrating that. And it, like, you want to talk about roller coaster. Gary Harris gets the steal. They're going the other way. Everyone's thinking, why are they still driving towards the basket? Pull the damn ball out. Jamal throws it to Torrey. Torrey misses it. They're going back the other way. Suddenly, Mike Conley has a wide open look to sink the entire series.
To sink my life.
And
you're making Drew drink aggressively because
that was one hell of a moment. I legitimately still have nightmares about the shot going in and just how terrible that would have felt.
If anybody's curious about the concept of time being relative, like you've heard of Einstein talking about the relativity of time, just remember that sequence. That sequence lasted 20 years. I watched I watched it. They were running at full speed, but it was slow motion. And I had time to contemplate every decision I'd ever made in my entire life, what I was going to do after my heart was broken. Would I move? Would I what was going to happen? Like, my whole life was in the balance in that moment. And and
the bar was like silent. Like the bar, you could feel the different emotions.
It wasn't silent. It was this.
Yeah, no, there really was a gasp when Torrey Craig missed the layup.
Waiting. Is it going to go in? Is it going to go in?
Torrey Craig, no one should be happier about that than Torrey Craig. He would have gone to the same place where Raheem Moore lives.
Yeah.
And would have never come back from that
He would have been the GOAT, but like the old version of GOAT, where it just meant the shitty guy that ruined it for everybody versus the greatest of all time.
I still can't believe Jamal didn't just pull it out.
Speaking of the Broncos, let's move on to the Broncos. Ryan, what is your favorite Broncos playoff moment?
Yeah, so there's a few to choose from here, but I think there's a couple different types of moments that we talk about. There's that jump around hugging your friends moment, but the Ray Bourque moment is a different style moment, and it's the climb to the mountaintop moment, which is like super special, especially when it's like an Everest type mountain that you're climbing. And so that first Broncos Super Bowl, which the moment in there is kind of the helicopter, right? Like John Elway, he has been considered a Super Bowl loser for his entire career. Like, he is 37 years old. He's finally back in the big game. They've got another chance at it. It had been a while since they had been there. And he's kind of lost like his mobility. He's not quite as fleet of foot as he once was. 3rd and 6 from the 12-yard line. He takes off, and it's just like this power of will moment, right? Where he's just like, I'm not being denied this time. Like, there's no way you can take this from me anymore. And that's like such a special thing in sports where someone just wants it more than everyone else, right? And so he gets that first down. The Broncos score a few plays later on a Terrell Davis touchdown run, and it ends up, culminating in the first Broncos Super Bowl. And then the Ray Bourque moment, of course, is Pat Bowlen giving this one's for John, which is just perfect. Like he just nailed that moment so well. And, the Broncos finally get that monkey off their back. That's just about as good as it gets in terms of the climbing the mountain style moment.
100%. I mean, you've got Eric, for people listening to the podcast, Eric, Drew, and AJ are just like nodding their head like, yes, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about how many football games you've watched and how often you watch quarterbacks scramble. And like how awkwardly they will give themselves up. And that's how things have been for my entire life. That's just what quarterbacks do. And that one time you could just see John Elway was like, F this. I'm not sliding legs first and coming up a yard short and watching us kick a damn field goal here. No, this is not happening. We are getting into this end zone and we're winning this game. And what a moment for everybody around him who's already like, that's the guy everybody's trying to lift up anyway, right? And then he's like, I got this. Like it's everything that he's ever done for the Broncos, everything that he's all of the hard carrying he did for years with like mediocre teams through the AFC playoffs. And he was pretty diminished by that point. He wasn't bad. He just wasn't like prime Elway anymore. But you saw that little glimpse. You saw the competitor and saw the fire. And it was just like, this just a true, like, will not be denied moment.
Yeah, I don't mean to sully the name of our future savior in Aaron Rodgers, but, last year in the playoffs.
A pre-sullying.
Last year in the playoffs, NFC Championship game, there's essentially nothing between Aaron Rodgers and the end zone. And it wasn't like a conscious choice where he was saying, like, I don't want to run this. He thought he could pass it in. So he kind of toes the line of scrimmage and throws it, and they don't get it then. They don't get it the next play, and that's the end. They don't advance to the Super Bowl. But it's like there's just a little, like, that's the contrasting moment because he could have had his helicopter moment right there. Mm-hmm. But he decided, I'm going to try and make the play a different way. Elway in this time was like, I'm not going to let anyone else change this play. It is me. I'm getting the first down. We are winning this effing Super Bowl. And it's pretty beautiful.
Our lousy future savior. What a...
Let me get real quick to some of the comments of people of their favorite moments. We've got Wayne saying Joe Sakic handing Ray Bourque the Stanley Cup. A lot of these moments we talked about. We've got the game winner for the 96 Cup, Tulo Chance during Game 4 of the 2017 NLCS game gave me chills. They were so loud. This one's for loud. Pat. Mutombo laying on the ground after beating the Sonics. That was from Bleeding Black and Gold. And then Marty said this one's for John and Sakic giving Bourque the cup. Nicholas said 2007 wildcard tiebreaker game versus San Diego. Coors was an electric factory that night. Technically was 163 regular season game, but playoff implications can't overlook that. And then we had a bunch of people here in the comments talking about their favorite moments. That is why I wanted to talk about today, because it is looking back on nostalgia. It is looking back at individual favorite moments that happen in the playoffs. And we are about to get the Nuggets and the Avs in the playoffs and hopefully make a lot more of these favorite moments and memories. And hopefully a lot of these memories will be down here at the DNVR bar. But what, Ryan?
Oh, well, I wasn't done.
Oh, well, you went too long.
I wanted to give a honorable mention to John Elway.
Hold on. Let me do an ad read and then you could go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that's a tease.
All we know is John Elway. Whether you're looking to refinance your current mortgage or buy a new home, Mike in Virginia will make the process as simple and smooth as possible. Right now, the market is hectic and wild, especially if you're buying. So definitely call Mike in Virginia and Chevalier Mortgage. They are going to make your life a lot easier. You can visit them at dnvrmortgage.com and enter to win a free DNVR shirt or hat of your choice when you do. Most importantly, get set up with a free consultation to discuss all of your options. That's dnvrmortgage.com. what is it? Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. Okay, Ryan, finish us off.
Honorable mention goes to John Elway, returning the favor after Super Bowl 50. This one's for Pat. Unfortunately, John Elway is just like, he's like super jock robot man. So he like wasn't able to deliver it. Like really, he wasn't able to like deliver that with like, in my opinion, like the heart that it needed. I think he had thought about it a little too much. Like he had probably been thinking about it. Yeah, exactly. So
also in that moment, there's like so much adrenaline. He probably just was like, this one's for Pat.
Fumbling, looking for this one. Yeah.
So it didn't quite land as good as I was hoping it to, but I kind of saw that coming.
I don't know. The original moment was kind of awkward too, right? The this one's for John, and you're just like,
But something about the delivery of that was like, it was kind of good. I don't know. It had like a PA announcer.
Yeah, it was awkward and like memorable in all the good ways, right? But it's just like, I don't know. I always thought it was just both of them were just really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. Well, super rich people can sometimes be awkward.
Okay.
Well, that's why we're all so relatable here on this panel.
That's not awkward at all. I'm super cool, guys.
But the one that to me has the most like.
Oh, so you had even more.
Yes.
Okay.
The most just like one moment explosion is the Tebow to DT. Like it has that like you're in overtime, everything's on the line. And you're kind of just hoping, like, man, I hope they can move down the field a little bit here. Like, there was never you could never be too confident that a Tim Tebow offense was going to move the ball. But you did know that he had the magic in him. And you were expecting, like, at least I was expecting a Tebow moment. For it to happen on the first play of overtime was just like, like, just, and then you just lose it. Like, DT gets the stiff arm off, and he's off to the races, and you're just like, oh, there it was. One play and over. That's also as good as it gets in terms of like an explosion moment, especially in football.
Special shout out to Cale Makar's first goal.
Oh, yes.
For an just everything added up to that moment.
That's my favorite playoff moment that I've like experienced live 100%. It was incredible.
That was the start of an era, I think.
Yep. Love that.
And hopefully we get an Alex Newhook goal in the first game.
Alex Newhook, Connor Timmins, pick one.
Yes.
Exactly. It'd be incredible.
Let them both do it.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for you guys this week. Let's do who won the week real quick.
Oh, wow.
We really have to?
I mean, the Avs won the week. There's like, unless Drew, you have anything?
Connor Joe won the week. Get out of here with his Avs stuff nonsense. Get out of here.
That's what I thought. I mean, the Avs won the President's Trophy.
The Avs won the week, right? Wrap it up.
The Avs won this week for sure.
AJ even earlier was like, it doesn't matter.
As much as I want to sell Bobby Massey here.
I know. And as much as I want to talk about the Avalanche or the Nuggets bloodlessly and joylessly beating teams that do not want to win under any circumstance. What a week it's been, guys.
Wait, does Bo Byram still not have his first goal either?
Nope.
Oh, let's get all three of them in the playoffs.
Hell yes.
I have a great Bo and Byram story that I've been sitting on for his first goal.
Oh, I'm excited.
It's eating me up. It's eating me up.
This is why you should subscribe to DNVR.com. You get all of AJ's incredible writing.
Does he know this? You should let him know. He's like, he's a penny.
That'll get him back faster. That's true.
Come on, Bo-Bye.
Come on, Bo-Bye.
All right, guys. DNVR Bets Daily is up next. The Rockies will be going live this weekend. Well, are you guys doing a pregame show?
Yeah, we're actually going to go live here in just a few minutes after this.
Exactly.
Bunch of news. Bunch of stuff's going on.
So we've got DNVR Bets Daily. We've got a DNVR Nuggets postgame show, and then we will be back here on Monday night for the Avs' first game against the St. Louis Blues. Like I said, the bar is going to be so much fun, so crazy. So definitely get here early. We don't know yet, but it looks like restrictions there will be some sort of lifting of certain restrictions. So we'll see how that affects the bar. Definitely make sure to check all of our socials to keep an eye on that, just so you are updated on all of that good stuff. But have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
Yep.